Hi, so we're going to learn about jQuery today. So jQuery is a JavaScript library that allows you to do some very, very cool things. So JavaScript handles a lot of the interactions. So for example, imagine you go to a website and it does all these fancy animation. It displays some cool messages and then it fades away, fades out. Um, you click on things and it shows up a calendar that you can click on. All those interactive part of the website is created using JavaScript. Now jQuery is just a JavaScript library that is really popular and that is really powerful. So the problem with JavaScript is sometimes depending on different browsers, it acts a little bit differently. So you had to go and write, for example, a JavaScript code for Internet Explorer, JavaScript code for all the other search engines, and it would take a long time to work out all the cross browser compatibility issues. jQuery makes it solves all of that. And also you can do things that normally would take, for example, 20 to 100 lines of codes in JavaScript. You can do that using jQuery. And once you understand how CSS is done, jQuery just becomes very natural. Okay. All right. So now that we know we're going to study jQuery, I created this index.html. So let's just call this a jQuery exercise, and I drag this index.html to my browser. And let's just put in some fake content. So here I'll put in a paragraph. This is a paragraph. And let's put some heading. Okay, so this one, H1, we'll call it main heading. So go ahead and type with me as you watch the video. And we'll say this is the secondary heading. And we'll put another paragraph. This is the second paragraph. So I save this. I would click on the browser, reload, and it didn't show up. So let's save it again. Okay, let's figure out what's happening. Maybe this file is actually not the one that I'm supposed to be editing. Yeah, I think I was editing the wrong one. Okay, so let me go to this one. I think this is the one that I am supposed to edit. Okay, there it is. So I copied it. Okay, so now let's do it. So it's always a good exercise to type a little bit of code and then reload the browser to make sure it is working. Okay, so JavaScript, you would insert what JavaScript library you want to add into the head. Just like in the CSS exercise, we specified which CSS file to add in the head. We're going to do the same thing in JavaScript. Now, if you go to jQuery.com, you can download that JavaScript, the jQuery JavaScript file. So you can download this, save that, and maybe you go to your folder. Let me go to my folder here. And maybe you create a folder called JS where you're going to store all the JavaScript libraries. And then you could call that JavaScript file directly from your computer. One popular way that people insert jQuery is jQuery is used so much by so many web applications that instead of having jQuery file called from every single website, Google, for example, host some of these jQuery files. So you can just use some of those jQuery. I think you can type in Google APIs and goes to the libraries, Google developers, and you can search for jQuery and it will give you the latest jQuery code that you can just insert. So I'm just going to insert that, copy and paste this. So you can tell that this file, and you have to make some changes, http://. So you can see that this file is just the jQuery min.js file. It is just hosted in googleapis.com. Okay. And you can have different versions of Ajax. The one that I'm using right now for the video is 1.91, and jQuery keeps updating, very frequently. So the version you might see may be a little bit different. Okay, so this is how I can insert the jQuery code. Again, I didn't, if I wanted to, I could have just downloaded this jQuery.minimum.js file and I could have just said that's in my JS folder. Okay, but because everyone uses jQuery, instead of the browser taking time to download this file from my computer, I just say, hey, just use the one in Google, and that works. Okay, so that's what you do. Go ahead and just reload. It shouldn't have changed anything. So now that you got jQuery installed, how do you use it? Okay, so what you do is, okay, looking up my notes, just a second. Okay, so what you would do, let me bring my mouse back. You do script, type, text, JavaScript. Okay, so I'm gonna insert some script, and I think some of this you may not have to use this, but I still put it in. JavaScript is like the default scripting language for HTML, and what I would put is just type this with me for now, and then I'll explain what this means. And then, okay, so what this means is the document, and the dollar means this is going to be a jQuery function. So when the document tag, okay, or when the document is ready, that's one of the function in jQuery, run the function. Run the function that's inside this bracket. Okay, so you got to make sure now that when you do JavaScript that you're closing the right things. You're closing things in the proper place. So see, I started a bracket that looks like that. I closed a bracket. I'm closing a parenthesis over here, and then I'm putting a semicolon to indicate that I'm done. Okay, so what this basically means is this means run the following functions stuff when the document is ready. So what does that mean when the document is ready? It just means after all the document in HTML has been loaded, when it's ready, run whatever is over here. So I'm going to teach you, before I teach you some of the jQuery functions, I'll teach you two most important functions. One is an alert function. This is a JavaScript function. So alert basically just displays an alert pop-up box on the screen. So we'll say, hi Coding Dojo. So we'll save it, make sure that there's a semicolon over here, and I would reload the page, and it says, hi Coding Dojo. This is an alert box. Okay? Alright, so that worked. Another thing I can do that's not so annoying, alert boxes can be very annoying. You can do console.log, console, I say it somewhat funny, console.log, and say, hi Coding Dojo. Coding Dojo. Okay, and make sure you have a semicolon at the end. So if I reload this page, it doesn't do an annoying pop-up, but I can do inspect element, make sure you're using Chrome, and I can go to console, and it displays the message over here. When using JavaScript, you're going to be using this quite a bit. So let's say I actually forgot to do some stuff. I forgot to close the parentheses. When it comes to programming, you have to close all the parentheses the right way. But let's say I forgot. So I go and reload the page, and let's do another kind of more fun example. So I did alert, so I'm expecting something to alert, and I reload, it doesn't work, and I'm like, what is going on? Well, inspect element, if you go to the console, is going to tell you that there is an error with your JavaScript. It took me a few years to even know that there is a tool like this. And it tells you where it is, line 11. So I click on it, and it says, hey, something is wrong with your JavaScript right there. Okay, so I can go, like, oh yeah, I forgot to end this, and I forgot to do this, and I forgot to put a semicolon. So if you do that, and save it, and reload, then it works. And when I go to the console, it doesn't display any error message, right? Alright, this, always have it open when you're doing jQuery and JavaScript. If something's not working as it should, go to the console, and log things like display some messages like came here. Anyway, okay, all right, so now let's go into jQuery functions. So jQuery, just like CSS, we're going to put a $sign when we start, and in quotation mark we're going to specify the selector. So we're going to say so let's do this. For example, what I want to do is when main heading is clicked, I want this paragraph to, I want both paragraphs to disappear. Okay, so how do I do that? Okay, it's really easy. So I say when h1 is clicked, and you will learn about all the different jQuery functions. There are a list of jQuery functions we want you to get familiar with. Click is one of them. And we'll say when it's clicked, run the functions in this curly bracket. Okay, I gotta make sure I have a semicolon. So, let's just do this. Clicked on H1. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, reloaded. Click. Yes, it said alert. Okay, all right, so it worked. Let's do another. Let's just copy and paste it. And when H2 is clicked, we'll say clicked on H2. Isn't that fun? So, and it says clicked on H2. Wow, this is pretty cool stuff, right? Okay, all right. I can do some other cool stuff. Okay, so we can say when H1 is clicked, run the functions inside this, and clicked on H1, and after the alert boxes are shown, I want to do something with the paragraphs in jQuery, and I want this to hide. There's a jQuery function called hide. You will learn about it in the documentation. You'll play around with all the important jQuery functions that we think you need to know. Okay, but for now, just believe that there is a hide function, and let's see what this does. Clicked on H1, and then I told paragraphs to hide, right? Whoa! Okay, wasn't that cool? Okay, I think there's also fade out. Fade out is even cooler. Click on it. Ooh, that was really cool, right? Okay. All right, so now when H2 is, so we'll say when H1 is clicked, we'll fade out the paragraph. When H2 is clicked, we'll fade in the paragraph. Okay. Let's see if that works. Clicked on H1. Whoa, okay, cool. Clicked on H2, and there it goes again. Okay, cool. So what if I wanted to just hide this paragraph? Okay, so we'll say, let's give it an ID, special. Okay, and just like in CSS, let's say I only want to fade out and fade in the special paragraph. What I could do is I can just put a pound, just like CSS. Okay, pound means division. If I wanted to specify all the class special, then I just do dot special. So I can do this, and if I do this, it's only supposed to fade out the second paragraph, and it does. Okay, so just see how easily this ties in with the CSS things that you've learned. This is the selector. Whatever goes in here, that's just like in CSS, the selector. And then we just associate different methods to do certain things with the elements that are specified in the selector. Okay. All right. So I hope that's a good introduction. Now you can add, jQuery codes, in the header, in the body, at the end, towards the end of the body. I don't like jQuery code showing anywhere in the body, although some would argue that it's better to put it all the way at the end. For readability purposes, in Coding Dojo, you're going to put it all the way on the top. Okay. Now, some people put like document ready all the time. There's no need. You can just put all the functions that you need to use as part of document ready function. Okay. All right. So what you will do is go ahead and type and do what we talked about over here, and go over to the next videos and play around and get familiar with all the different jQuery functions. All right, have fun.